It looked like Adam Silver is forced to speak out against Kathy Engelbert and the current dismemberment of her relationship with her players.
Adam Silver has finally broken his silence, and it spells bad news for Kathy Engelbert. Following her wild Caitlin Clark should be grateful comments, Silver has stepped in to manage the fallout. He's pointing out relationship issues and reminding everybody who is really in charge of this league.
He stepped out and started talking about the crazy nonsense of a civil war that's going on between Iron Man or Iron Woman, Kathy Engelbert, and Captain America, Nafisa Collier, man.
Do you believe Adam Silver ought to replace Kathy Engelbert before it's too late? Let's be real, when the commissioner of the NBA has to get involved in WNBA drama, you know the situation is out of control. Adam Silver attempted to stay silent during the chaos, but Kathy Engelbert's most recent remarks about Caitlin Clark were too outlandish to overlook.
Here, in my opinion, Kathy Engelbert's not going to survive this as the commissioner. I don't believe the Nafisa Collier pipe bomb that she dropped the other day, where she channeled the spirit of Caitlin Clark, unbeknownst to Clark, but knowns to Collier. Nonetheless, when Caitlin Clark calls for new leadership,
it all began with Nafisa Collier's exit interview. 6 minutes of absolute mayhem. She essentially called out Kathy Engelbert for being disconnected and tone deaf. As Collier tells it, Kathy supposedly said Caitlin Clark should be thankful she earned $16 million away from the court, because without the WNBA's stage, she would have nothing. Yes, she really said that. That quotation went viral faster than a wildfire. Within a few hours, half the league was tweeting their support for Collier. Players criticized the leadership, fans were incensed, and Kathy did what all cornered executives do, denied it all. She claimed the comments were not accurate. Translation, I said it, but I regret getting caught. She then followed that up with the worst possible line, that she was saddened her words were being misconstrued. Kathy, you are not the victim here. You are the one who alienated your top stars and your league's main draw in a single sentence. Because let's be honest, Caitlin Clark is the entire WNBA at this moment. She's why attendance has doubled. She's why ESPN's viewership has spiked. She's why sponsors are suddenly interested. And you tell her she should be grateful? That is laughable. No surprise Adam Silver finally had to intervene. Silver spoke out this week, and while he didn't entirely throw Kathy under the bus, he didn't rush to her defense either. He described the situation as unfortunate, particularly since it's unfolding during the final, the one time the WNBA ought to be concentrating on basketball, not damage control. He stated there are problems that go beyond economics, that relationships must be mended, and that the friction has become overly personal. That is corporate jargon for, this woman has lost the confidence of her league. And he isn't wrong. Kathy Engelbert should be the commissioner, not the main story. But currently, the narrative isn't about the finals, Caitlin's recovery, or the league's achievements. It's about Silver even had to promise everyone that a new CBA agreement would be reached. He stated, "We'll get a deal done with the players." He added, "There's a lot of work to do, but it will get done." Note what he did not say. He didn't say Kathy Engelbert would get it done. He said, that's significant, because when the NBA commissioner starts using "we," it means the NBA is preparing to take control of the negotiations. And frankly, that might be the only solution. The players have no trust in Kathy. They refuse to even meet with her. Nafisa Collier actually canceled her meeting after Kathy denied her account publicly. She learned Kathy had essentially called her a liar to the world and said, "Nope, I'm out." That is how severe it's become, and this isn't solely about money. The players understand they won't earn NBA-level salaries overnight. What they demand is respect. To have their voices heard, to be appreciated, to be regarded as professionals. Instead, they receive lectures on gratitude. Meanwhile, Adam Silver is here acting like the responsible adult. He isn't ignoring the players. He is not dismissing their frustrations. He is recognizing that the league's primary issue isn't monetary, it's emotional, it's a matter of trust, and Kathy Engelbert has utterly lost that. Now, in fairness, Adam Silver did offer her one small piece of praise. He commended her for steering the league through a phase of swift expansion, but even that sounded like a courteous way of saying, "Thank you for your contributions, but your time is over." because growth is no longer the problem. The WNBA has expanded thanks to stars like Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and Nafisa Collier. The issue is a leadership that is ill-equipped to manage that expansion. The players are more influential than ever, yet Kathy continues to operate the league as if it were. That approach no longer works, and Silver is aware of it. He is essentially positioning himself as the mediator between the two factions, the one individual that both players and owners hold in esteem. Even players concede they would prefer speaking with Silver over Engelbert. That is humiliating for a commissioner. Silver's message was unmistakable. This cannot be solely about contracts and broadcast deals. If trust is not restored, the league could implode, and frankly, he is correct. The WNBA has significant momentum right now. The issue is that they are squandering it on internal drama. All of this was avoidable if Kathy had just admitted her error and communicated with the players directly. Instead, she doubled down, issued denials, and tried to manage the PR crisis. Now there is a full-scale mutiny. Players are exasperated, fans are criticizing the leadership, and Caitlin Clark, the league's most prominent figure, has remained silent publicly. That silence is deafening. When Caitlin Clark doesn't even address your controversy, it shows she doesn't take you seriously, and that is the worst position for a commissioner. Caitlin isn't just another player, she is the brand. Every breath she takes generates online reactions. Every time she enters an arena, cameras are on her, and if the WNBA loses her trust, they lose their entire public image. Adam Silver understands this, which explains his calm yet decisive tone. He essentially communicated, this league needs to resolve its issues, or we will resolve them for it. The translation: Kathy Engelbert's time is limited. Now let's revisit those comical remarks, because that's what truly captivated the internet. Kathy telling Caitlin Clark to be grateful? That is like McDonald's telling Ronald to appreciate the fries. She is the very reason your product is successful. And the on your knees thanking the league line. Yes, that one did not age well. Fans have been relentlessly mocking that quote. Memes are everywhere. Someone even shared a picture of Caitlin making a long-range three-pointer with the caption, "Thank you, Commissioner, for permitting this." Even NBA players joined in, saying if they were Caitlin, they'd start invoicing the league every time her name was mentioned, and that is what distinguishes Adam Silver's approach. He gets how star power functions. He has witnessed what occurs when a league empowers its players instead of demeaning them. The NBA expanded through trust and collaboration. The WNBA is faltering due to ego. Silver knows time is running out. The CBA is set to expire on October. If an agreement isn't made, the league might face a lockout, and the only thing worse than poor leadership is no season whatsoever. At present, the WNBA's greatest danger isn't financial, it's mismanagement. Now let's address the real reason this is being watched so closely. Adam Silver is no longer just talking, he is discreetly assuming command. Behind the scenes, NBA leadership is reportedly reviewing the WNBA's operational structure. Sponsors are allegedly posing questions like, who is actually in charge here? That is never a positive indication. And while Kathy Engelbert holds the commissioner title, her authority appears to be diminishing daily. Adam Silver's remarks about relationship problems were not accidental. That was his diplomatic way of stating, Kathy, you've lost the support of the players. He also reiterated that the finals should center on basketball, not internal politics. Translation: the finals are on, but the headlines are dominated by drama instead of athletic performance. Worse still, Kathy's unsuccessful PR efforts exacerbated the situation tenfold. She could have offered an apology. She could have provided clarification. Instead, she relied on press statements and corporate jargon. Now, Nafisa Collier is seen as the voice of reason, while Kathy appears to be desperately trying to save her reputation. And though Silver lauded Kathy for navigating the league's growth, he immediately followed by saying, "But we have to restore trust." That is not praise, that is foreshadowing, and it's clear to everyone. The players are united, the commissioner is isolated, and the NBA is getting ready to intervene. Kathy's grateful remark was not just insulting, it showed how disconnected the leadership is. Caitlin Clark isn't fortunate to have the WNBA. The WNBA is fortunate to have Caitlin Clark. She doesn't require the league for her fame. The league requires her for its relevance. Her name sells out arenas, boosts TV viewership, and gets the WNBA on trending topics that once overlooked it. And that is precisely why Adam Silver's intervention is so critical. He recognizes Caitlin is not just another player. She's the force driving this entire operation. Silver wishes to avoid another lockout like the one seen in the NBA, but he also recognizes that if Kathy remains, the probability of that happening increases significantly. The players' union has already demonstrated its strength by opting out of the CBA ahead of schedule. The new deadline is October 31st, a spooky season for the league in multiple respects, because if this agreement falls through, the WNBA will not only suffer a public relations catastrophe, it could face a complete shutdown. And let's be honest, nobody is going to watch lawyers debating legal documents. Fans want to see Caitlin Clark shooting from mid-court and Angel Reese making slick passes, but none of that can occur if the leadership remains the same. Silver appears to grasp that this is not about dismissing one individual. It's about reforming an entire culture of condescension. Kathy's tone suggested she views the players as employees rather than partners, which is a massive error. Adam Silver operates with the opposite philosophy in the NBA. He has cultivated relationships, provided players a platform to voice their opinions, and transformed stars into business associates, not hindrances. He is likely observing this WNBA situation and thinking, we are not going through this again. Fans are currently divided. Some advocate for Kathy Engelbert's immediate removal. Others believe she should complete the season and then step down discreetly. But the reality is, her credibility is already gone. Even casual followers now recognize her name, and not for positive reasons. This is not how a commissioner maintains authority. This is how a commissioner becomes a running joke. In the meantime, Adam Silver's intervention is perfectly timed. By acting now, he is signaling that the NBA is still invested in the outcome here, and that gesture alone has alleviated some of the anxiety. He even offered some reassurance, stating, "We'll get a deal done with the players," but beneath that composed demeanor is immense pressure. If the WNBA cannot resolve its issues by Halloween, the NBA will take control, and perhaps that is what is needed. Because when the league's top star cannot go a week without being pulled into executive disputes, the system is broken. Caitlin Clark should not have to support the WNBA and also solve its leadership problems. But this is where we are. The most incredible part, Caitlin has not uttered a single word. She is letting her silence speak for itself, which demonstrates her awareness of her own influence. The next time she speaks, it will have a major impact, and Adam Silver is aware of this. If she so much as implies a loss of faith in Kathy, it is game over. Because when Caitlin Clark speaks, sponsors pay attention. When Caitlin Clark tweets, headlines are generated. And when Caitlin Clark dismisses your league's leadership, it is already too late. So yes, Kathy Engelbert can issue denials, deflect, and act as if all is well. But Adam Silver's composed tone was revealing. She is officially living on borrowed time. Kathy Engelbert transformed a single thoughtless remark into a league-wide crisis, and now Adam Silver is here to rectify it. He did not need to raise his voice. Do you believe Silver intends to quietly find her replacement after the CBA deadline? Share your thoughts in the comments. Give this a like, and be sure to subscribe for more updates.